Welcome back guys to another video. Since I've uploaded the video for this C63, which is on our channel, I've had a few people email and generally just message and inquire on social media and stuff about the general running costs of these things, and mainly the biggest question I've been asked is, what are they actually like on fuel? I'll go through my own personal experience, with how it's been like, what it's been like for me, fuel costs, and just in general, and from what I can remember of the actual servicing requirements on these cars. So yeah, the car I've got here is a late 2012 C63 AMG Coupe. So it's a 6.2 litre V8 W204, which is what their code is. And before I say anything about the fuel costs, these cars are absolutely awesome. The noise they make is absolutely phenomenal. On to the economy of this thing. If you're driving along normal, no real spirited driving, just using it as a normal commuter, you will see around 17 odd miles to the gallon. Now, I know the statistics for these cars do state around 15.5, 16 miles to the gallon, but I've seen more than that just on a normal drive. But that is, you have to leave your lead foot at home. So they're not as bad as what you'd expect from a 6 litre car. I've had Mitsubishi Evos and Subaru Imprezas that have drank more fuel than this. So comparing it to them, I think it's not too bad. If you're driving it around a spirited drive, then expect to see anything up, as low as 6-7 miles to the gallon, which will happen quite often, especially if you're out on a drive, just to hear that roar. And what a roar it is. Seriously, what a roar it is. I'll put in a little clip here of what this thing sounds like. Perfect. It sounds absolutely mega. It's such a addictive roar. You will tell yourself every time you drive it, no, I'm not driving it like that today. I'm going to drive it sensible. 5 minutes into the drive and you're automatically programmed the moment you jump into this car to put it into manual mode or put it into Sports Plus and open it up, and you will do that, trust me. So, and then you will expect to see, like a mixture sort of driving around town, 11 miles to the gallon, 10, anything between, let's say 10 to 12 miles to the gallon, because that is what I normally get. So on a long run, on paper they can do apparently 33, 34 miles to the gallon. But I don't think I've ever known anybody to do that, and I haven't ever achieved anything close to that. I've seen, was it 26, 27, 28 miles to the gallon on a run, which I believe is a very good sort of economy for the nature of the actual car. So, that's actually a very good figure, but that is driving it in cruise control at, 70 odd miles an hour. So it's not bad, to be fair. Like I said, for the nature of the car, I think that's actually a very good sort of fuel economy figure. But again, if you're going to be cruising around at 90, 95, 100 miles an hour, or if you're just going to be, even though you shouldn't be doing that because that is breaking the limit, or if you're going to be booting it a bit, backing off, booting it a bit, backing off, then you are still looking at, even on a bit of a long sort of drive, you will still be looking around the 20, late teens to 20 miles to the gallon. So yes, they can drink quite a bit of fuel if you've got a lead foot, but it's expected. It is expected. There's that type of a car, you want to hear them every now and then. You do get a bit hyped up and you think, yeah, I'm going to do this, and put it into manual like now. I'll do it now. We're still in 4th gear, drop it. You just want to hear that noise, and it's such an incredible noise. And even just, I know it's only like a quick little blast, but even stuff like that, it'll just pump a whole load of fuel through the system, and there it goes, mate. Then there it is. Your economy drops automatically. I mean, I was driving it around normally there. I was on 16 0.7 miles to the gallon. And then just that one little blast there has taken it back down to 15.8. So you get what I mean. It's they will drink a little bit of fuel, and it's expected, to be fair. But even like this, 3,000-4,000 RPM blasts, and you will still see the economy drop. But again, it's part and parcel of a C63. You want to hear that roar. You want to hear that grumble. You want to really wake the neighbours up in the morning. You want to wake everybody up when you're going to work at 6 o'clock in the morning, if you work at 6 in the morning. It's just such an awesome roar. On to the servicing then. Servicing on these cars, Mercedes-Benz recommend yearly servicing, or I believe it is 12,500 miles. So they're a very, like a stretch sort of service interval. But I know most people, after reading up on the internet and forums and social media and stuff, a lot of people do actually service their cars either before the 12 months is over or before the 12,500 miles if they've not covered the mileage in the year. So, I'd say anything around 8,000 miles. If you're not covering the more than 8,000 miles a year, service it every year. Or if you're doing more than that, do it, I'd say, around 8,000 miles. I mean, there's nothing wrong with servicing them every 12,500 miles if you're strictly going by what Mercedes tell you. But it all depends on how you drive the thing. If you're driving them on track, or if you're driving them spirited quite a lot, then I recommend servicing them before the recommended time. Servicing, again, it is, from reading up, a few £100, £300-400 for a small service, and I believe they do run A service to B service, back to A, B being the bigger service, but then every now and then you have to chuck in a diff oil, gearbox oil, fuel filters. So if you're looking at replacing everything, spark plugs, if you're looking at replacing all of these things, then the servicing will cost you over £1,000. Again, it's all part and parcel of C63 ownership. Not a massive sort of amount in the grand scheme of things. If you've bought a C63, I'm sure you're expecting these sort of bills to come along with the thing, especially if you're keeping it and actually using it and putting a bit of mileage on your car. But again, smaller services can be had for just a few £100, which isn't that bad. Brakes can cost you a few £100 a pop. I know the discs on these cars can be quite expensive, but also what a lot of people do is, and what is actually perfectly normal to do, is you can have your brake discs skimmed. They have a little dimple on the actual brake disc to show how far you can go on to the actual skimming. So don't automatically assume my brake discs have got a bit of a lip they need doing. No, you can actually get them skimmed and they are still perfectly usable brakes. So, and brake pads, again, purely because of the size of the caliper, I believe there are 6 pots on the front. They can cost you £200 to £300 for a set of brake pads, average sort of brake pads. But if you're looking more performance pads, then obviously you're talking a bit more money. You can, anything £300-400. So it's all relative to what you need to use your car for and how you drive the thing. So brake discs, I know they can be a bit costly. You're talking £1,000 for the pair of discs if you shop around. So when you're replacing discs and pads, you are looking, you're looking at over £1,000 just to get them two done. But again, it's relative. The next thing with these cars is tyres. With it being a 450 horsepower car, unless you've got the Performance Pack Plus or Performance Pack even, then it's 485, I believe, or around the 500 horsepower mark. Tyres, depending on how you drive it, you will get through a few set of tyres. They can cost you anything £250 odd a corner for the rears. Fronts are a bit cheaper because they come with a staggered fitment as from the factory. So as a full set of tyres, £800 to £1,000, depends on how deep you want to shop around, how far you want to go, how far you want to look into things. But if you're going to walk into your quick fits and your general tyre changing centres, then it will end up costing you the best part of £1,000. I don't see you getting much change, if any change, from £1,000. So again, these are things that you have to factor into the whole buying the car thing, because it's not just a straightforward thing as buying the C63. They have come to a level now where they are fairly affordable, so it can be done. but they still need a lot of maintenance. The maintenance, should I say, they don't need a lot of maintenance. The maintenance on these cars can still cost quite a lot depending on what's actually due according to the service schedule and what's actually been done. So there are, just, you know, do factor these into buying a C63, because you don't want to, the last thing you want to do is buy a C63 AMG or any performance car for that matter and then skimp on servicing costs, running costs, because they will only bite you on the backside, you know, later on. So please do factor these into things. And it's there was a little bridge, so I had to do that. The roar this thing makes is just perfect. There's a few common faults with these cars. I know the earlier C63s from 2008 suffered from engine failure. I think it was the bottom end bearings used to go. But again, these later cars, it's a bit more of a, they've kind of like ironed out a lot of issues on these cars. So generally you'll find is they will give you trouble-free motoring. I think rocker gaskets leak. It's best part, you know, £400, £500, £600, I believe, to get them done. It's not a major thing, and it's not something that every C63 will need doing, you know, during your ownership. So just something to factor into things when you buy one. And I know on this one they've actually been done. The previous owner had them done before I bought it, which was perfect. And again, it was one of the reasons I went for this car. So the other thing with these cars is also the alloy wheels have a tendency to start cracking. It is a common thing amongst a lot of cars that run flat tyres or low profile tyres. So do look out for them. Generally it's not something that you can actually see off the face of things, so you will realise after you've bought the car, if you keep losing air, it's not necessarily your tyre's got a puncture, it could be your wheel that's cracked. So do, you know, take a look into that. Other than that, to be fair, just buy yourselves one of these and enjoy. They are an enjoyable car. They're a bit of a barge of a car, they're a heavy car, but they're such a fun car to drive. And you know, half of the fun on these cars is the actual noise that they make, and the noise is quite simply absolutely phenomenal. Like I mentioned, we've got a few videos, I've got a couple of videos uploaded on our YouTube channel with the C63 in them, so do check them out. There's a review of this car on there, and there's also a comparison to a E92 M3, so do have a look at these videos as well. So yeah, that's it guys for today. It was just a brief, quick little short video just to go through fuel costs, and I thought I'd add a couple of other little costs into it as well, just from what I can remember off the top of my head. Yeah, purely because I've got asked these questions over the course of the last few weeks, so I figured rather than just replying, I may as well just put a video out there just to show you guys, you know, just to give you a lot, a bit of a input as to what it could cost you to run when you buy a C63. But you know, putting all of the running costs to one side, they are a pucker car. They are an absolutely epic car. If you're looking to buy one, I recommend get yourselves a C63 purely because of the noise. If there's no other thing out there that's pushing you to buying one, just buy one purely because of the noise, because they are absolutely awesome. Get it put to stage 1. Just get a stage 1 remap done to it, so you'll go from 450 horsepower to 515 to 520 bhp, which is a very good number. Anything stage 2, then you're talking a lot more money. The 6.2 litre engine on these things is very, very, very kind of like toned down. I know a lot of the other bigger AMG Mercedes come with this engine as well, so, and they're running more power. So this car is capable of running a lot more power on this lump. So I hope you found this video useful. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Performance Lifestyles. Check us out on Instagram as well, performance_lifestyles, and on Facebook as well, Performance Lifestyles. We've got plenty of reviews on our channel uploaded, so do have a look at them. And we've got plenty of other content to come. So please do take a look, help us grow. Hopefully we'll catch you on the next one.